God bless you, my brothers and sisters. We are continuing today in our 40 Days of Decrease series, and today we are fasting from addition. I want you to read through the scriptures for today. That's John chapter 19, verses 38 through 42, and be very faithful as you continue to read through the scriptures each day. Addition is often mistaken for abundance. We accumulate layers to feel secure, more explanations, more controls, more possessions, more activities. Yet scripture consistently warns that what we add can obscure rather than enrich. It can distract rather than deepen. Lent is a season of subtraction so that what remains may be true. Today asks us to examine what has been added to our lives, our faith, and our practices that may be quietly crowding out trust. This fast invites us to confront the difference between what is necessary and what has simply been accumulated. Addition is the impulse to believe that more will heal the disquiet. Spiritually, addition appears when layers are added to faith to manage anxiety, extra assurances, excess explanations, cluttered schedules, and constant consumption. What begins as provision can become burden. To fast from addition is not to reject gifts or deny blessings. It is to question whether what has been added is truly life-giving or merely compensatory. This fast trains discernment between abundance and excess. John writes in chapter 19, verse 38, after these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. Joseph's discipleship has been hidden, not adorned. There's no spectacle, only quiet courage emerging when it's costly. John continues in verse 39, Nicodemus also, who earlier had come to Jesus by night, came bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds in weight. That quantity is striking. The spices are generous, even excessive by burial standards. Devotion expresses itself through abundance, yet it remains simple and reverent rather than performative. Verse 40, they took the body of Jesus and bound it in linen cloths with spices, as is the burial custom of the Jews. The preparation follows custom, not innovation. Nothing is embellished beyond what is faithful. And John concludes in verse 42, because of the Jewish day of preparation, since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there. There's no attempt to add ceremony or explanation. Faithfulness is timely, restrained, and complete. Addition often arises from fear of emptiness. We add to shield ourselves from silence, uncertainty, or grief. Yet Joseph and Nicodemus model a faith that does not overcompensate. Their actions are meaningful without excess commentary. Faithfulness does not require adornment to be real. Scripture shows that God often works most clearly where excess is stripped away. The empty tomb doesn't need any enhancement. The body of Jesus needs care, not explanation. Addition fades so obedience may remain focused. Here's the heart of day 32. Addition can dull attentiveness to what truly matters. When excess crowds the soul, discernment weakens. God's work does not require our embellishment, it requires our presence, our humility, and our trust. Lent then retrains simplicity. It teaches that restraint is not deprivation, but clarity. By fasting addition, we practice letting go of clutter, of control, of the constant urge to supplement what God has already provided. This fast creates space for gratitude and attentiveness to emerge. Today's fast invites inventory. So today I want you to identify one area where you have added unnecessarily: possessions, commitments, explanations, distractions, and then ask what fear or restlessness prompted the addition. And then choose one act of subtraction today. Remove what is non-essential. Allow simplicity to shape attention and faith. Here are your questions for reflection today as you prepare to pray. What have I added in order to feel secure? What excess, or how rather, does excess affect my ability to attend to God? And what might faithful simplicity look like today? Again, I want to commend you to read through the scriptures. That's John chapter 19, verse 38 through 42. And then take the time to pray today before you move on with your day. God bless you, my brothers and sisters, and we will see you on the next day of Lent.